Good morning and welcome back to Mobility Matters. I'm your host, Javier Betancourt, Executive Director of the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, or CITT. We, of course, are the quasi-independent agency of Miami-Dade County charged with overseeing your half-penny sales tax for transportation. We've had a lot of great guests on this program, and hopefully we'll continue to do so for a long time. But I am particularly honored to have this guest with me today, someone who I've worked with in the past, someone who everyone in this community knows. It is the Honorable Property Appraiser from Miami-Dade County, Tomás Regalado.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Mayor, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Javier. Thank you. And thank you for your work. We need watchdogs, and the CITT is one symbol of what the people should be doing, investing their time in the future and the present of the county.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. And you've been a bit of a watchdog yourself, right? Both your expansive career in the media as a journalist, and reporting on the things happening in government. And then, of course, I keep calling you Mr. Mayor because, as everyone knows, you were the mayor of City of Miami, and prior to that, commissioner. So before we get into what you do as property appraiser, let's talk about some of your background. How did you start your career, and how did that then morph into public service?
Well, as a young teenager, I was fascinated with the media. My dad was a journalist in Cuba, and although I spent very few years in Cuba until they sent me as part of the Pedro Pan group of children that we came on a company. I even remember when I used to go to the TBS stations in Cuba before Castro, have memories about a newspaper printing area. And when I came here, I went to high school. I went to La Salle. I had support of people because my dad was in Cuba in jail, and so I started interning in a radio station. The good thing is that that radio station was the first and only 24-hour Spanish radio station in the Miami area in the late 60s. And I was the only one that spoke English. And so they sent me to do interviews and things, and that's how my career started. I have enjoyed decades of journalism. I've been blessed because I've done whatever I wanted to do and whatever any journalist would want to do, which is being on radio and TV, on print media. I had the honor of being the first Cuban American in the White House Press Corps during the Reagan years, and then Bush 41. I've done several wars, and then in 1996, politics came. There was an opening in the City of Miami Commission where I grew up all my life. I've never been outside the City of Miami as a resident since I came from Cuba as a teenager. I got married in the City of Miami. I had my children in the City of Miami. So I was interested in politics. I ran on a citywide election because at that time there were no districts, and I was elected. When I came in, the city was going into difficult times, and the thing is that I enjoyed that. I was able to continue my radio show. I did that for 12 years, and then in 2009, just in time with the bubble, I was sworn in as the 42nd mayor of the city of Miami. But as a commissioner, one of the things that I did in terms of quality of life was the trolleys.
Yes.
You know, the trolleys was something that for us was something new. It's part of the half a penny transportation tax, but it worked. People were very skeptical.
Right.
What are we What are we going to do? We have to police those trolleys. If those trolleys are free, then bad people will get in. And this and that. None of those fears came through.
Of course.
People used a lot. And then during my years as mayor, different city commissioners say, okay, we need one in the health district. We need one in Flagami. We need one, and we started with the Coral Way route. And
Once you proved it worked, everyone wanted one, right?
yes,
And
yes.
everyone deserves one.
And now, as you very well know, if you get on a trolley in downtown free, you can go even to the University of Miami,
Right.
because they have connection with the Coral Gables trolley system, and now you see trolleys everywhere.
Yeah, I believe the city of Miami now has the most expansive trolley system in the city. If I'm not mistaken, 13 routes or so. But it all started with that first trolley and proving that it would work. So thank you for that.
Yes, so it's about mobility, because believe it or not, we have several issues about mobility. You first of all, you have the culture of automobile driving. People will go to the store 2 blocks away, and they take the car and they circle in the parking lot to get parked. Then to go to work, a lot of people have to use that. And public transit, of course, is one of the remedies if you want to go point A to point B. But still, internally within the city, a lot of people, a lot of young people, but especially a lot of elderly people, use trolley.
Yeah.
I remember.
Some don't have a choice, right? I mean,
No.
we have a large population of people who don't have a car and can't drive.
Right, but I remember there is a public housing building, very famous for the name Carroll Manors. It's next to Mercy Hospital.
Yes.
It's elderly, mainly professional, retired. And when I became mayor, I did not represent that area until I became mayor. That I represent the whole city. They asking, oh, if we can have a trolley. But what do you want a trolley? So we can take a ride and see downtown.
Get out. Yes.
Get out of the building.
Yeah.
And we did that. It has been a success. I don't know if it's still going on. I don't know what happened. I do know that when I was campaigning for property appraisal, I visited there several times, and they started complaining about the trolleys. Okay, but I don't do trolleys right now. But it's been a good idea, a good project, and you guys have been wonderful by supporting those municipal initiatives.
Well, thank you, and you did such a great job. We worked together when I was at the Downtown Development Authority.
I know.
So I remember clearly that you took on that
Right.
that issue and exhibited tremendous leadership. So thank you, sir. And so you had a great tenure as commissioner, followed by a great tenure as mayor, and then you termed out. And instead of relaxing and traveling, you decided, I'm not done yet. I want to continue working, and I want to continue in public service. And you ran for property appraiser. So,
Right.
First of all, thank you, because most people at that age want to retire and relax, and you're still here working on behalf of the people. What is it that drives you to public service? Why did you run for property appraiser?
Well, first of all, when I left the mayor's office in November of 2017, month after that, a lot of people will say, what are you doing in your retirement? I said, I'm not retired. I'm doing TV. I'm doing radio. I'm spending more time doing media. But then in 2018, the people of Florida voted for Amendment 10. to amend the Florida Constitution and create constitutional offices in all the counties of the state of Florida. Principally, it was targeted on Miami-Dade County, who had a different set of rules than most of the 67 counties in the state of Florida. The property appraisal would become January 7 of this year an independent, standalone department with no ties except the regular ties for with the Miami-Dade County government. And I was intrigued by that. Then the past property appraisal, Pedro Garcia, decided to retire. He did an excellent job, and the race became partisan and also became a countywide race. So I decided that I could help more people. I had a training in the city of Miami where we took care not on the huge projects, international
Right.
things,
Shiny
all
things,
that,
yes.
but sidewalks and pick up the trash and different details of your daily life. And I noticed that we had a housing crisis, a housing crisis that if we did not address or try to do something, a lot of people not only will lose their homes, which a lot of people are losing their home, but also the most important thing is that our children and our children's children would not be able to be part of the American dream and have a home here because of affordability. And I decided to give it a try. And when I campaigned, the single most important and reoccurring complaint or request, property taxes. Well, I guess that the stars are aligning now because there is a statewide conversation about property taxes.
Right.
In fact, as we speak, as you know, there are several bills in the state legislature, excuse me, that deal with property taxes. And what we have seen, Senator Avila the past week said that all the bills will be examined and maybe have an omnibus bill to do something about property taxes. Now, why this is important? I understand that, and I do understand because I come from a municipality, that property taxes are paramount for local government, for services, and all that. But at the same time, we have to understand that we cannot try, excuse me,
It's okay.
the flu season is around. We cannot kill a city to save a government. And so we have to find some relief. There's not much that the property appraisal can do to fix the insurance crisis. We know that. The legislature is trying to do their best. But on property taxes, although we don't set the numbers, we set the values. We are the first step for property taxes. In all the taxing municipalities, we have 34 municipalities. We have the school board, we have the Children Trust, we have the county government, we have the South Florida Water Management, who are taxing authorities. And I think that and this is what brings us to mobility. You know, the state statutes says that we, as property appraisers of the state of Florida, have to guide by 8 rules. excuse me,
That's okay. Have some water, please, if you need.
have to guide by 8 rules. One of those rules is income, is location, its highest and best use, is pricing of the value of the property or the land, and we can help. In fact, we have been talking to developers about affordable housing and how we can use the methods of valuing property to help those affordable housing projects. Also, we have live local, and if we apply certain rules, if we had some legislation, which I think we're going to have from the county as a whole on live local to implement that, I think that we will be able to help alleviate. And all that we have to do, Javier, all that we need to do is, first of all, follow the market. The market now is not as hot as it used to be.
It's cool enough.
It's stabilizing. But by income, by climate change, by the cost of operating a condo building. So all these factors are being studied by our team, and we believe that if we lower the values, we can have more inventory, we can have more development, we can have more housing, and especially if we do it, especially on the transit area. Transit areas are a fantastic way of helping everybody because you have right there the metro rail
Mm-hmm.
or the metro bus, and people can move without having a car. That's a saving
Absolutely.
in itself.
The second largest expense of most families is transportation. So first is housing.
Right.
So we got to tackle the housing costs and taxes and insurance. And then the second largest cost is transportation. So I think what you're saying is people who live near a transit station, number one, if you're able to make it affordable housing, great. They're saving money there, but then they could also save money on transportation by not needing a car. If you can hop on Metro Rail, get to work, get to school, get to a grocery store through some combination of the county transit and the city systems, then that is a huge expense that you no longer have to carry, right?
And listen, the people are hurting.
Yeah.
Especially the people that live on fixed income.
Mm-hmm.
In the city of Miami has the largest number of units of public housing in all Miami-Dade County and in all South Florida, because the city of Miami came first,
Right.
And then the housing projects began in the 1930s with the New Deal, and kept going. So mobility for these people is a huge issue. That's why we did the trolleys.
Right.
That's why we hope that transit will be expanded, so you can move from point A to point B to point C without trying to use any of the regular means of transportation.
And in your role as property appraiser, when you're looking at a development, let's say the building at the Douglas station,
Right.
Douglas Link, that is a public-private partnership between the county and that developer. It is a private development, but on public land. So I'm curious as to how that is assessed at the end of the day. Do you think that being next to a transit station generally increases property values, or I doubt this, or does it decrease it? And to what extent are you evaluating their taxes without the land component? Because the land is at the end of the day public, or do you still count the land towards that?
The land the land is exempt
It is exempt. And that's what I thought.
because it's county land. But it's funny that you mentioned that particular project because we had hours of discussion about that project, and uh, and and basically the bottom line is that the developers are willing, they're able to do affordable housing for 40 years
Mhm.
and not market price, which is a huge difference, by the way.
Of course.
But they need relief.
Right.
So
They have to make the numbers work.
So we were discussing, okay, so what's taxable and what's not taxable in that project, and I am happy to say that we reached a decision that it's not that we benefit the developers, it's that we give the developer the way to help the people
Right.
live in affordable
Pass
housing,
those savings on to the
pass
residents.
those savings to the people. If not, if we were to say, well, you know what, here you can build a 50 stories condo for residential, 1.3 million each one, but then the developers will build it, sell it, and whatever. There's no affordability.
Yeah. And that's sounds like maybe going to establish a precedent for negotiations with other TODs. So Coconut Grove, of course, has a transit-oriented development, South
Right.
Miami, et cetera. So your plan is to kind of apply that same thought process wherever these TODs take place.
Listen, housing is a huge issue. I just had a long conversation with Alex Ballina, the housing director of the county, because we have to do something. And yes, we are willing to partner and to work with any developer that is willing to participate in affordability. If we have a transit area, thank you so much, because it double helps
Right.
the people.
It's a win-win-win, right? For the county, for the transit,
For everyone,
for the
for
residents,
yeah,
for everyone.
for everyone.
Well, excellent. Well, I'm glad you're involved in those conversations and being a part of the solution, because I do think that TODs, if we're going to continue to grow in Miami, people keep wanting to move here, but we can't grow out. We have to grow
Right.
up.
Right.
And where do you want to grow up?
Right.
Where you have transit,
Yeah.
right? So we're not adding cars to the roadway. So.
Right. We have transit. Let's be honest.
Mhm.
People don't like to walk here,
Right.
so we have to facilitate transit other than automobiles.
Absolutely. Mr. Mayor, we only have a few short seconds left in the program, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk about what you would probably say is your greatest accomplishments in life, and that's your family. So you were inspired by your father, and I know that your children have been inspired by you into public service. I work with one of them in particular very closely. Tell us about your family and your children.
Well, I have three fantastic children. Like I said, I got married in the city of Miami, in a church in the city of Miami. My children were born in the city of Miami. They are native Miamian, but they probably said that they are Cuban Americans. And the three of them have been trained to be humble, to work. If you want to achieve something, you have to work and work hard. My late wife trained them to be fighters,
fearless,
and not take any hostages. And I trained them to be part of the media world. And they have done that, the three of them. So they're very interested. My My eldest has been in communication all his life. He's now part of the big national radio network, and he has to move around, based in Miami to New York to Los Angeles to Chicago, and he's very happy. My second, my only girl, Raquel, she has been a school board member, county commissioner, but especially the mom was two beautiful autistic children. And my third and youngest, he's into climate change, and he is in the building department of a major city. So I'm very proud of them, and the good thing about them is that if they don't hear from me every 2 hours or something like that, they will start calling each other. Call dad, call dad.
Make sure you're okay. That's right.
Make sure he's okay. Yes.
Well, and having worked closely with Commissioner Regalado in particular, I could tell you've done a great job with your children, sir. So
thank you.
Again,
I always say she took to her mom. So, yeah.
And we've had her on the program, by the way, and so I'm overdue to have her back. Mr. Mayor, I apologize. That's all the time we have. We could spend hours talking about your fascinating life and your service to this county.
I just want Javier to invite the viewers to reach out to our office. Okay. There are many things that people don't know that can save them money. Many exemptions that people didn't realize that it exists. So we're here to serve the people.
So miamidadepa.gov, and then look up Property Appraiser. And
property. No, actually, it's a standalone. Is property appraisal at Miami-Dade.
You know? Okay. Well, good. Thank you, sir. Congratulations again on your election. Thank you for all the work you do, all the wonderful things you've done throughout your career. And thank you for appearing on my program. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Javier.
Thank you. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in to this episode of Mobility Matters. Again, you could find us here every other Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. and learn about all these wonderful projects, programs, services with great guests like Property Appraiser Regalado. So please tune in 2 weeks when we'll have some additional amazing guests for you to learn from. If you're interested in learning more about us, please visit our website, miamidadepa.gov/CITT. And if you're interested in being a part of the solution, we have several vacancies on our board of trustees. So please apply to be a member of the CITT. Again, all that information is available on our website. Thank you for your time, and see you in 2 weeks.